Thank you very much for the kind introduction. Natalie, I found your presentation extremely interesting. I have to take exception to your advice about the self-medication. However, there are two sides to that story. I decided to sit down after second generation because technically our family company was founded by my father, Paul Sr., in 1978, which is, I guess, 38 years. But we came to Canada from France in the early 1960s. He is a fifth-generation French wine grower. I guess I represent the sixth, and we've made wine professionally on 3 continents, in France, North Africa, and the colony of French Algeria, and now in Canada. We're quite happy here, so we're hopefully we're not going to have to move again. But my father came to Canada with very little. He did have my mother, however, and that was more than enough. And she was a tremendous contributor. My parents are still alive; they're in their 80s, and I'm in a funny position because whether it's other family members or employees, it's everybody comes to me and say, I know, you want me to talk to Paul Sr. So it took a long time, but we have an excellent relationship. He never formally retired, and I guess serves as a mentor. And eventually, I started my own family, and that's my wife, Michelle, there, who was supposed to make this presentation with me today. Actually, had she been here today, she probably would have made the entire presentation. And she's our director of marketing. She has an extensive background in the pharmaceutical industry before joining our family enterprise about 15 years ago. So she has sold 2 things in her life: drugs and booze, and that is it. I said that my father has never retired, and people periodically ask me about that, and I said, well, are you planning on retiring from your spouse, assuming you love them? Are you planning on retiring from your kids, assuming you love them? How do you retire from something that you love so much? And that's his story, and that's I think I'm a chip off the old block. This is our winery in Niagara-on-the-Lake. It's on the St. David's Bench, which is at the brow of the Niagara Escarpment, a UNESCO Biosphere Reserve. We are, on protected agricultural land, and that photo, I would like to think maybe 100 years from now, you could take that picture again, and I don't see it changing. I don't think they're ever going to allow apartment buildings to be built on the top of the Niagara Escarpment in Niagara-on-the-Lake. But we've been in business 38 years. We're glorified farmers, really. We have four vineyards, about 230 acres of production. In total, our employees represent about 75 full-time employees, and we sell our wines predominantly in the province of Ontario, but throughout Canada, and we export, particularly our ice wines, all over the world to Asia. As a matter of fact, my Chinese importer has been bugging me about placing a new order. I shouldn't say he's bugging me. I should be grateful that he's, but I've told him to, hold on, I'm about to get on stage, and I need to make a presentation. So this is, I come to you today from deepest, darkest Niagara-on-the-Lake. That's where I'm from. And we were very much looking forward to June the 17th, 2016, because we had just completed a major expansion of our underground cellar, and with lots of new equipment, 16 French oak casks, 5,000-liter casks, which are absolutely magnificent, and this was the first major capital project we had embarked in since the chateau itself was built in the mid 90s, and so we had planned an event to inaugurate our brand new barrel cellar later that day, and that was the Father's Day weekend. And so more on that later on, but early on that morning, we started receiving emails and texts from concerned employees, other stakeholders, friends, about an article that appeared in Post Media and was a front-page news story in their Niagara-based paper, St. Catharines Standard, Niagara Falls Review, Welland Tribune, and I didn't see what the controversy was. I've got lots of, media training, and I've learned to not say stupid things, when the mic is on, and that was my quote. It was a long article. I was one of, only 8 or 10 people quoted in the article, and I thought I said something, nice about, the largest company in our industry, and I've got an excellent relationship with them, so I had good reasons to say something nice about them. And but that wasn't my quote. That was the problem. This was the problem. They put my picture in there, which is fine. They should have picked somebody a lot prettier than me, but they went with me. And out of the blue, the caption underneath my photo: Paul Boss for Shadow Charms Winery, Niagara Lake, in May, shortly after the winery sold over asking price. And like, what the hell? I mean, this wasn't discussed whatsoever. It was an article about foreign investment in Niagara and what's good and bad about it, and that was the reason for the text and the emails. And when you've so closely affiliated your consumer brand with your own family, they become one and the same. And you'll see situations where competitors, although we like to think we've got ours is a gentleman's industry, we do have competitors that will start rumors for commercial gain to sow uncertainty about the future of your business. I was particularly sensitive vis-a-vis the employees, because we're in a real transition with our employee base. Sort of, we've had employees there that have worked there as long as I have, and I've been there full time since 1984, and they're now retiring, and we're starting to transition and get a lot younger, which is not bad for our brand image. And we don't want people like that who we have a lot invested in to get itchy feet about, well, if the Boss family's sort of checking out, maybe I should think about that myself. So I saw this as potentially very disruptive internally. So what do we do about it? Well, first off, we finished our coffee and our tea respectively, threw on some clothes. It was early on a Saturday morning, so we got dressed, and we the very first thing we did was we had the email addresses of the two writers, and we wrote to them, and then waited for the chips to fall. And the second thing we did is we put this memo out to our own staff, which explained that we were on it, and we're going to try to rectify the matter. One of the sales reps was like, "Oh man, this is bad news. My customers don't like hearing about this." Yeah, I know what it's like. A lot of those customers, I established them, many years ago myself, and I don't want them to disconnect emotionally from us. So that obviously was very reassuring, to the staff. And by 12:10, this popped up on their website. So it took 3 or 4 hours, but we got a retraction in print. And so from that moment on, if anybody was talking about, "Oh, did you hear the Shadow de Charms was sold?" and you're kidding, really? And yeah, just go to the website. It's a front page story in the St. Catharines Standard today. Well, when they clicked on, this is what was put up, to their credit, to their credit. And then the rest of the article followed, and they took out the egregious caption under my picture, and so that was the end of the problem. We snuffed it out pretty quickly and turned it around. My wife got on it, once we had the retraction. Full court press to the best of our ability on social media. She tweeted out to her 6,500 followers, and there were a whole whack of retweets from there. That became our dominant story on our Facebook page that day. And it's somewhat interesting as the comments started coming in, "Hey, that is great news, so happy to hear that." Phew! Would it kill newspapers to actually do a little research? A little more on that in a moment. But anyway, so we could now focus on our big grand opening event for our new cellar. And I've done so many wine tastings, winemakers' dinners, media tours, this and that. And so we were brainstorming a few weeks before, myself, my wife Michelle, and our 9-year-old son Alex, what to do with the cavernous new cellar prior to all the barrels and the casks going in. And we decided to hold a Father's Day weekend ball hockey tournament, and that's what we did. That was our big kickoff event. So on the left here, we're playing the national anthem. Somebody forgot to bring out the Canadian flag, so one of the boys said, "Well, let's pretend that the fire alarm on the wall is the Canadian flag." We had a replica of the Stanley Cup. There was a large opening, double doors. We put a line of barrels there to create sort of a board. On the other side of the barrels, we let the public tours come right up and see what was going on. The mums were on that side of the boards prior to starting the tournament. We served everybody lunch, which came with copious glasses of wine. After a while, the mums had way too much wine to drink, and by the third period, the boys' goals were counting 5, to 1, right? So their mathematics sort of suffered. and the boys won the tournament. But although it wasn't intended, my wife was tweeting out updates, how it was going. There was a great reaction to it. One of our tour guides wrote this, and he said that everybody found it very, very cool. That because the tour guides were pointing people out and saying, well, that's the president of our company, and that's his boy, and that's their buddies, and this is what Canadians do when they build a $2 million wine cellar. It's an excuse to play hockey. And people said, yeah, that's what Canadians do, And it was a fantastic day. It didn't start all that well, but it sure ended off fairly well. Our learnings: it pays to have credibility with the media, but with friends like that, be very careful not to pick on a company like Post Media, but they seem to still have reporters on the payroll, but fact checkers, editors, whatever, that's all been gutted, and that's how these things happen. The reporters are expected to do their own editing. Apparently, in this particular case, it was some kid cutting and pasting. I don't even know his title, and he sort of screwed up, mixing up one story with another, with another story. And I noticed the other day, if you go to the CBC's website, at the very, very bottom, there's a link, report typos, and I found that interesting that, as taxpayers, we subsidize the CBC how many hundreds of millions of dollars a year, and now we gotta fix their typos? I mean, and so be very careful about what you read. Be very careful about how you interact with the media, and if at all possible, try to get a copy of the story ahead of time. I haven't had a fact checker from a media source contact me in about 5 years now, and it used to happen all the time, and now it doesn't happen anymore. And that's how these things happen. There's nothing wrong with outside service providers. Hey, I know there's lots of lawyers in the room. Some of my best friends are lawyers, and I've certainly paid my fair share of legal fees over the years. But we felt here time was of the essence. We didn't need to overreact and send a legal letter threatening defamation. We still do have a very good relationship with those particular writers, and we felt that if we acted quickly, even though it was early on a Saturday morning, they would get to it. And sure enough, they felt quite personally bad about it and dealt with it. So. If action is called for, act fast and decisively, especially if it involves key stakeholders like employees, customers. Authenticity needs to be baked into your brand, and your brand's identity needs to be defended at virtually all costs. And for better or worse, that's what we did. I saw this. Quote, Elon Musk was in Mexico last week talking about the role that he wants SpaceX to play in manned missions to Mars. And he said, it would be an incredible adventure. It would be the most inspiring thing that I could possibly imagine. Life needs to be more than solving problems every day. You need to wake up every day and be excited about the future and be inspired and want to live. And I never said that, but that's sort of what I eventually grew to believe, myself. And if, our son ever chooses, our way of life, I think it'll be events like that Father's Day ball hockey, in the new cellar that will sort of provide the building blocks for him to see that that way of life. And just to finish off, so anyway, things had gone so well, and even though it was very, very short notice, and it cost about $1,000 a minute, that evening we blew off about 8 minutes worth of fireworks to celebrate. You guys actually believe that, don't you? Like, see, that's the thing. Like, because I'm in the wine business, people say, "Oh yeah, that's those guys. They're paid to party and whatever." Of course, the wine guy would blow off fireworks at the conclusion of a ball hockey tournament. No, that's not true. I can't afford to do a show like that. That was some rich young couple's wedding at our place, and they lit off fireworks. And that's the truth of the story. I should have maybe stuck to the first one, but then I thought, well, they're probably going to, that's not a very Canadian thing to do. But anyway, not our fireworks, but it started out as a not such a good day, ended up to be a fantastic day for me and my family and our employees. Thank you.